Get ready now. The starting lineups tonight for the Montreal Expos. Leading off and playing second base, Dave Cash. Chris Spire will hit second and play shortstop. Batting third in right field, Ellis Valentine. Hitting fourth at first base, Tony Perez. Batting number 5 and doing the catching, Gary Carter. Warren Cromartie will be in left field, batting 6th. Hitting number 7, Larry Parrish at third base. Batting 8th in center field, Andre Dawson. And batting 9th in pitching, right-hander Stan Bonson. Again for the Expos, it's Cash at second, Spire at shortstop, and Valentine in right field. Perez at first, Carter catching, Cromartie in left. With Parrish at third, Dawson in center, and Bonson on the mound. For the Reds, Pete Rose will start it off and play third base. Hitting second in right field, Ken Griffey. Joe Morgan will bat third and play second base. Danny Dreesen will be batting in the cleanup spot at first base. Hitting number 5, left fielder George Foster. Johnny Bench will do the catching and hit 6th. Batting 7th at shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Hitting 8th, Cesar Geronimo in center field. While batting 9th and pitching, left-hander Fred Norman. Again for the Reds, it's Rose at third, Griffey in right field, and Morgan at second base. Dreesen at first, Foster in left, Bench catching. With Concepcion at shortstop, Geronimo in center, and Norman on the mound. Joe, an excellent crowd as the Reds return home, and I guess you could say with the club coming in here, the one that we are playing, and with a certain individual on this team, there is a feeling of, I guess, expectancy and a whole lot of nostalgia tonight.
Well, I think it's absolutely correct, Marty, to see the dog back again, and a lot of folks here to, well, I guess you might say honor Tony Perez for the many, many fine and great years he had with the Cincinnati Ball Club, and it's really nice to see him back, and Pete talking about him on the pregame show, some of the Perezisms, I guess you would say, and so it's really nice to see him, but of course, we would love to beat him 4 straight.
That we would, and we're set to go now as Freddie Norman goes to work against a man who was in another uniform himself last year, and now with the Expos, second baseman Dave Cash. A first pitch, a fastball that's up high for ball 1, and this game is underway. Cash batting .281 with 17 RBIs. He takes the next pitch upstairs. Norman behind at ball 2. On deck is Chris Spire, their shortstop, and he'll be followed by their right fielder, Ellis Valentine. Norman working rapidly, delivers on the inside, a call strike, 2-1. Cash last year, wearing the Philadelphia Philly double mitts, batted .375 against Cincinnati pitching with 3 runs batted in. Right-handed batter, and Norman with a 2-1 delivery, swung out and fouled back. As the count draws level at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Reds, of course, rained out a couple of days in New York. We were scheduled to open there Monday night. That was rained out. We played Tuesday and lost 8-0. We played Wednesday and won 5-0 behind Jack Billingham. And then the game that was rained out Monday, rescheduled yesterday at 4:05, that was rained out. So the Reds have had 2 off days this week. And now coming back to open up this 7-game homestand. High fastball. And Dave Cash with a 3-2 count on him from Freddie Norman as the Expos leadoff batter, and the second baseman steps out of the box, picks up a handful of dirt, and moves back in. Johnny Bench hanging a sign. Norman kicks and he throws, and the 3-2 is high, ball 4. So Cash has started the game with a base on balls, and that'll bring up shortstop Chris Spire. A lot of new faces on this Montreal ball club. The first 2 hitters, Cash and Spire. Davey, of course, coming over from Philadelphia. Spire coming over, about 5 weeks ago in the trade with the San Francisco Giants that sent Tim Foley to that Western Division ball club. Of course, Tony Perez coming over after 12 glorious years with the Cincinnati Reds. But apart from those people, this is a very young team. You look at their outfield of Cromartie, Dawson, and Valentine, all youngsters. Parrish young, Gary Carter a young man. Cash leading at first base as the pitch comes to Spire. It's in there for a taken strike. And not only a young club, but a hot team at the present time. Montreal has knocked off 5 consecutive victories. And as they start play against the Reds in this series, they have won 23 and lost 28, playing in game number 52. Here's the 0-1 to Spire. That is strike 2 call. So Norman losing Cash to a base on balls, missing with a 3-2 high fastball. Now they head quickly on the right-handed batting Spire at no balls and 2 strikes. Chris hitting .250 with a homer, and he's knocked in 8 runs. The infield, it's a double play depth. The pitch That misses low and inside for a ball. Ellis Valentine in the on-deck circle. And while the Expos are 5 under with his 5-game winning streak, the Reds are again bidding to go over the 500 mark. That shutout victory by Billingham 2 nights ago gives us 26 wins and 52 ball games. Here's a check of first, where the runner leads a pitch, swung on and fouled out of play to the right. So Norman with still the count advantage on Chris Spire, 1 and 2, as we check out the Reds defensively. At first base, Dan Dreesen. At second, Joe Morgan. The shortstop is Dave Concepcion, and Pete Rose is at third base. In left field, George Foster. In center, Cesar Geronimo with Ken Griffey in right. The Reds battery, Johnny Bench behind the plate, and Freddie Norman on the mound. Fred, after his 6th win of the year, he's lost 2 times and is making his 12th start with a couple of complete game efforts. He kicks and he throws. Fire swings. There's a smash to short. David on to Joe. Joe on to Double D, and that's a double play. 6-4-3 on the broken bat soft line drive that Concepcion fielded on a hop. On to Morgan, on to Dreesen, and with quickly 2 down, the batter will be right fielder Ellis Valentine. Reds turning their 55th double play of the year. Following the lead walk to Davy Cash, Spire bangs into it. Valentine, a right-handed batter. He's hitting .314, having a fine year, this young man, with 9 home runs and 27 runs knocked in. Norman sights a sign and sends in the pitch. Valentine takes it high, a ball. Outfield playing Valentine straight away and deep. He's got good power. He checks his swing on the pitch outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Tony Perez in the on-deck circle, and I would suspect that whether he comes up here in the first or he leads off the second, he will be getting a standing ovation from the crowd here at Riverfront. Now the 2-0 delivery to Valentine, taken high, ball 3. Norman high with his stuff to the leadoff hitter, Cash, and has been up with all 3 of his pitches here to Valentine, 3-0. Freddie needing a strike. Valentine takes, and that's over for strike 1 call. Jim Quick, our plate umpire, with Satch Davidson at first, Eric Gregg at second, and Ed Vargo at third. 3 balls and 1 strike, with 2 out and the bases empty here in the top of the first. Valentine waiting on the pitch. He takes, that is strike 2 call. Letter high fastball away. 3-2. Guy had a couple of home runs against us last year. It was up and down, splitting the time between the big club and their AAA team at Denver. 3-2 is strike 3 called. Valentine headed on down to first base. He thought he had a walk, but was punched out by plate umpire Jim Quick, and that's the inning. So for Montreal, no runs, no hits, nobody left on. We played a half inning of baseball. It's the Expos nothing, and the Reds are coming up. We enter the bottom half of the first inning, and it is right-hander Stan Bonson. He is 32 years old, from Council Bluffs, Iowa, now makes his home in Pompano Beach, Florida. And Bonson, of course, getting his first taste of the National League style of how to play baseball after spending his entire big league career over in the American League. Came up to the New York Yankees in 1968 and had some good years with that ball club, winning 17 his first year out of the gate. Later on, posted a 21 victory season in 1972 with the Chicago White Sox. For the last 2 years, he has been with Oakland and came over to the Expos back on the 22nd of last month for the contract of first baseman outfielder Mike Jorgensen. Bonson has won a game in 2 starts, no losses, and a .648 earned run average. Pitched 5 innings in his first National League start before being lifted, got credit for a victory in that game, but was hammered around pretty well his last time out. Pete Rose to start it off, and the pitch to him is high for a ball. Rose hitting .312 with 2 homers and 23 RBIs. Bonson back, and Pete swings and lines it into center field. Coming on to make the catch is Andre Dawson for out number 1. Rose hit that ball right on the button, but Dawson coming in toward the plate. Picked it off chest high, and with 1 out in the Reds half of the first inning, it'll be right fielder Ken Griffey in. Tony Perez at first, Dave Cash at second, Chris Spire at shortstop, and Larry Parrish will be playing at drawn-in third base. In left field, Warren Cromartie, in center Andre Dawson, and Ellis Valentine in right. Gary Carter behind the plate. And the pitch to Griffey. He shortens up on the bat, and it's strike one. Kenny, 300 by way of average, 4 by way of home runs, and 20 RBIs. Joe Morgan in the on-deck circle for Cincinnati as Griffey swings and bounces one to second. Cash up on the two-hopper and on to Perez to retire Griffey and make it 2 quickly out. Reds, of course, are seeing Bonson for the first time.
Marty, the book on Bonson, from what we can find out, is a lot of breaking stuff. You're not going to see too many fastballs to hit. You're going to see quite a few breaking balls, curves, sliding.
He has retired Rose on a line out to center, gotten Griffey on a bouncing ball to second, and now works to Joe Morgan with 2 down. The pitch is at the knees for a strike. Morgan batting .287 with 8 home runs and 29 runs batted in. The pitch from Bonson is cut on and hit hard, backhanded by Cash, and he throws him out. Davey was playing a deep second base for Joe. In fact, behind the back white line, that ball was hit very hard. He backhanded it on the hop and got the outplay by a step and a half at first. The Reds are down 1-2-3, and as we move to the second, it's the Reds nothing and the Expos nothing. Well, we move to the top of the second inning, and they are standing in mass at Riverfront Stadium and have been for about a minute and a half now, ever since Tony Perez emerged from the third base visitors' dugout. He was at the on-deck circle. They came up immediately. He is now in the batting box, and as PA announcer Paul Summercamp announces his name, well, you hear the roar in the background. The magic of this particular moment will probably never be equaled again as long as Tony Perez plays in National League or Major League Baseball. The reaction by the crowd here in Cincinnati will probably dwindle as time passes and each appearance at the plate comes up for this man here in Cincinnati. He swings on the first pitch and drops it foul back in behind the Cincinnati dugout. Tony is having a fine year. He's batting .285 with 7 home runs and 31 runs batted in. On deck is Gary Carter, and then it'll be Warren Cromartie. Freddie Norman working against Perez as Tony leads off the second in the scoreless game. The line to pitch. Perez takes the fastball head high, and it's 1-1. The outfield pretty much straight away for Perez. Here's a swing and a pop-up. That's going to be in play. Off the foul line near the Reds dugout. Johnny Bench right at the on-deck circle makes the play, and some of the folks here at the stadium didn't particularly care for it. Joe, I have to wonder, you were here when Lee May made his first appearance back in Cincinnati after being traded away. What was that reaction compared to this?
Not quite the same, I tell you. It was tremendous. And, of course, Tony is, well, you can't say enough about the guy. Super guy. I don't think John's ever been booed for catching a pop-up.
No, I wouldn't think so. Here's Gary Carter now. Carter, the Expos catcher, batting .291. He's hit 10 home runs and has knocked in 20 runs. The outfield for Carter like it was for Perez straight away. Freddie serves up the pitch high for ball 1. We're talking with Gary before the game. He is batting 5th against left-handers and will probably move to the 6th spot in the batting order, with Warren Cromartie going to the 5th spot against right-handed pitching. And, of course, they'll be seeing a right-hander tomorrow night. 2 balls and no strikes. Gary with 10 home runs, and 9 of those 10 have been solo shots. 3 of them coming in one game at the new Olympic Stadium up in Montreal, which we will have the pleasure of working out of next weekend. The 2-0 pitch is cut on and foul to the screen. So Norman 2-1 against Carter with 1 out. And Cromartie, the next batter, scheduled up for the Expos. Davey Cash opened the game against Freddie with a base on balls, but Inspire hit into a double play, retired Valentine with a called third strike. Johnny Bench hanging a sign in the crouch behind the plate as Norman intently stares in to pick it up and delivers. That is ball 3 upstairs. Norman has got a 3-ball count to 3 of the 5 batters that he has faced so far in this game, and is now behind Carter at 3-1. Ready with a check and the pitch, and that is ball 4. So a second Expo on the night has received a free ticket to first base as Carter moves on down the line, and the batter will be rookie left fielder Warren Cromartie. I'll tell you, this young man has some very deceiving figures. We pointed out at times throughout the course of this still young season that this youngster was ranked up among the league leaders in doubles, and that he is. He's had 21 two-base hits this season, along with a .294 batting average, yet has driven in only 14 runs. Has gone homerless, left-handed batter, the only left-handed swinger in the Montreal lineup. Freddie working out of the stretch with Carter leading at first base. The pitch is there at the letters on the inside of fastball. Strike 1. Tomorrow night, Gary Nolan will be going against another first-timer as far as the Reds are concerned. We've never seen Jackie Brown. Here's a smash to short. Concepcion steps on the bag. 1 on to first. Double play. Second of the ball game for the Cincinnati Reds. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. We're in the middle of inning number 2. And it's the Reds and the Expos, 0-0. Tonight's game opens up a 7-game homestand for the Reds here at Riverfront. The Expos will be here tomorrow night for a 5:30 game. And then on Sunday, it's a big doubleheader with the Banner Day Parade set for between games. Next Monday, the Phillies come to town for 3 games. Monday night at 8:35 and Tuesday and Wednesday for 8:05 games. Plenty of seats are available for all these encounters, so get the family or friends together for an afternoon or evening of baseball. Saturday and Sunday, the stadium ticket office will be opening at 9 a.m. both days. The gates will open 2 hours before game time. Plenty of tickets available. So we hope that you'll make the Cincinnati Reds and the Montreal Expos a part of your weekend plans. Danny Dreesen for openers in the bottom of the second. Here's Stan Bonson with a pitch, and Dreesen takes it low. Danny batting .261. He's homered 4 times, has knocked in 30. Will be followed in the inning by George Foster and Johnny Bench. Pitch. That's a fastball inside and low. 2-0. Last year, head-to-head against Montreal, the Reds won 9 of the 12 meetings. And this man, Dan, was the best hitter against Expos pitching at .348, Dreesen. He swings and a bat handle foul ball will be out of here. 2 balls and a strike. The Dodgers, well, they've been having their problems. Beaten 6-3 last night by the Cardinals. Have now dropped 8 out of 12 ball games. The Reds have knocked 4.5 games off of their lead. This one hit hard and up the middle for a base hit. Dreesen picking up where he left off in 1976 with a hard ground single into center field, the first hit in this game. And tonight in St. Louis, it's going to be Pete Falcone for the St. Louis Cardinals against Doug Rao, 6-game winner with only a loss, so 2 left-handers will be going. Reds starting out tonight's play 9 games back of L.A. And as Sparky pointed out in the pregame show, he'd like to be able to start really building on something good right now and carry on through this month of June with a schedule in our favor. Dreesen going, Foster grounding toward short. Spire charges, no play on Dreesen, but gets the running throw off in time to get Foster at first base. Danny moving on to pitch. Spire charged the ground ball. Took a quick look-see at second base where he had no play, but got his man at first. So we got a runner in scoring position with 1 down with Double D at second base, and the batter will be Johnny Bench. John checking in at .233. Has homered 11 times and has banged in 38. Dreesen off the second. Bonson gloved hand on left knee, looking into his battery mate, Gary Carter. The sign, the stretch, the pitch. Bench swings and fouls it off the facing of the press box. It bounces back downstairs. Strike 1. Just a reminder, Reds baseball comes your way all season long on WBEX in Chillicothe, Ohio, WSGS in Hazard, Kentucky, and in Huntington, West Virginia on WGNT. 1 man out, runner at second. No score. We're in the bottom half of inning number 2 from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The pitch to Bench, cut on, fly ball, left field, going back, looking up, Cromartie, go off the wall. Hitting high off the fence, Gleason will score, and Johnny Bench goes to second base with a stand-up double that missed by no more than an inch or two from being out of here. That ball hit on the yellow line at the top of the wall in left field. As Bench launches a double off the boards in left field to score Dreesen and make it 1-0 our side. Joe, can you come any closer than that?
No, I think the stitch on the ball hit the top of the fence.
It was that close. Run-scoring double, the 39th RBI for J.B. It brings up Concepcion, and boy, what a bat he's been swinging lately. David has hit .423 in his last 15 games and batting .298 on the year. The pitch. That's a breaking ball outside and low. Run home, Bench at second. David at the plate with 1 out. And Bonson's 1-0 pitch. Way outside, ball 2. 2-0. Reds with 2 hits in the inning. A leadoff single by Dreesen. Danny moved to second base on Foster's bouncing ball to short and scores on Bench's double high off the left field fence. Here's a end of the bat foul ball. 2-1. Well, the staccato clapping beginning as Bonson has been touched for 1 in the inning with hopefully another one to come. He 2-1s to Concepcion and the pitch is inside. Ball 3. Geronimo on deck. Outfield playing Davey the other way. Cromartie pulled well off the line in left field. Valentine about straight away in center. There's ball 4, so Davey gets a walk. And as Geronimo strolls plateward, we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
This is WMNI-FM, Columbus, Ohio, where you can win valuable prizes on the Quadfather Show Monday through Friday morning at 7 and 8 a.m. The Quadfather might ask the question, what is a hemi-demi semi-quaver? Now, wait a minute. Everybody knows the answer to that. That's really... I gave another one away. Sorry.
Cesar Geronimo surveys the landscape, and what he sees is Johnny Bench at second and Dave Concepcion at first. Hitting .288 the Chief. He had 5 hits in the 2 games at Shea Stadium in New York. And the pitch to him is cut on and line foul off the Expo dugout and bouncing out to third baseman Larry Parrish. Cesar carries a 5-game hit streak into this one. Has also hit in 10 of 11 and 15 out of the last 17. His average of past 17 games, a lofty .406, and he's raised his overall batting average 61 points from .217 to its present .288. The pitch to him. Bouncing ball. There's Perez firing on to Spire, and no return throw to first base. So they cut down the middleman, Dave Concepcion, Perez to Spire, with Bench going to third. Geronimo in safely at first base for Fred Norman, the Cincinnati pitcher. Freddie, insofar as swinging the bat is concerned this season, has been up 26 times, has had 3 hits. Gary Carter has gone to the mound to talk with Stan Bonson. This Montreal ball club has been getting better pitching of late, and that pretty much has been the reason for this 5-game winning streak that right now has them in 5th place in the Eastern Division, but 9.5 games back of division-leading Chicago. Runners at first and third with 2 away. Pitcher against pitcher. Line drive. Base hit by Norman to center field. Bench scores. Bonson beside himself as Norman jumped on a fastball up and lined it to center field to help himself and make it 2-0. First RBI of the year for Norman.
He went up there and went to hacking on that high fastball. Most pitchers can hit that. Other than Billingham, he can hit
anything.
Yeah.
Anything you throw up there. Fastball, slider, curve change, fork ball, palm ball, spit ball, you name it. Cactus can hit it. Just one of the truly great hitters of our time. Thank you. Here's Rose now. 2 runs across, and the pitch is in there for strike one call. A 2-run second for Cincinnati. Geronimo, the lead runner, is at second. Norman with a run-scoring single at first. Pete line to center in the first. Bonson in trouble as he delivers, and Rose grounds one to the right side. Cash off to his left. Comes up throwing to Perez, and that's the inning. Cincinnati getting 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 stranded, and through 2 complete. The Reds 2 and the Expos nothing. Reds 2, Montreal nothing. We venture to inning number 3, where it will be third baseman Larry Parrish to lead it off for Montreal, the 7th batter in their lineup. And here to call the next couple of innings for you, Joe Nuxall.
All right, Marty. Parrish with a .268 batting average, 6 home runs and 20 RBIs. Larry's had 8 doubles. The Reds leading it 2-0. Parrish, Dawson, and Bonson here in the 3rd inning for Montreal. Freddie Norman has struck out 1, has walked 2 through the first 2 innings. Walking Cash in the 1st inning and Carter in the 2nd, but both erased on double plays. The Reds have now turned in 56 double plays in 53 ball games. We're in our 53rd game. The Expos playing their 52nd game. Parrish, a right-handed batter. The Reds outfield will be playing him about straight away. Although Dreesen now, or I should say Griffey, moved toward right center and left in right field. Norman's first pitch in for a called strike. Freddie looking for his 6th win of the year. His 0-1 delivery. That's the screwball swung on and pulled foul along the left field line. Well, Norman quickly out in front 0-2. Jack Bellingham leads the Red staff with wins 7. Then comes Norman with 5, and then Gary Nolan 4. 0-2 the count. Norman, the 0-2. That's a check swing. Did he go far enough? Bench. And they said yes, sir, as they checked with Satch Davidson, the first base umpire. Johnny trapping the ball in the dirt, tagging Parrish, but Jim Quick on the check with first base umpire Satch Davidson, and old Satch fired out that right arm right now. So Norman has his 2nd strikeout, and here's center fielder Andre Dawson. Dawson hitting .230 with 3 homers, 13 RBIs. Takes a strike on the outside corner. The Reds hoping to get over the 500 mark for the first time in a long time. The 0-1. Screwball down low, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Reds have run into a couple of hot ball clubs in the last 2 series. The Mets playing some great baseball. Pitch, strike 2 called. 1-2 now to Dawson. Of course, the Expos in a 5-game winning streak at the moment. Reds hopefully will end that tonight. Norman back to the plate. Slider is swung on and chopped foul. Count holds the ball, 2 strikes to center fielder Andre Dawson. Expos a young ball club when you go down their lineup. Carter, Cromartie, Parrish, Dawson, Cash, Spire, Valentine. Then we get to the Dogs. 1-2 again. A check swing bouncer knocked down by Norman. That's going to be trouble. Bench up with it. No play. Dawson with good speed. Freddie short hopping the ball. A low liner, and the ball bouncing out of his glove back toward home plate. Bench jumping on it, but no play. So an infield single for Andre Dawson with 1 away here in the 3rd. And pitcher Stan Bonson to the plate. Bonson has 1 hit in 2 times up this year. Good for 500 batting average. That 1 hit a double and produced a run for the Expos. Pete Rose pulled in at 3rd base looking for the bunt. Cash on deck. Norman sets, checks Dawson, and delivers to Bonson a high ball. Look at stolen bases, the Expos. They've stolen 21 times, been caught 16. Dawson 3 for 3 in the stolen base department. Ellis Valentine was 6. The pitch. Bonson squares the bunt, pops it up, bench with a play. He has it in foul territory off to the right of the plate. Oh, 2 away now, and here's Cash. Dave Walk leading off the ball game, then was erased on the double play that Spire hit into. Concepcion Morgan Dreesen. Cash hitting .281. Davis had 63 hits and 224 times to the plate. Driven in 17, the pitch to him. He takes it inside the ball. 2 away with Dawson at first base. The Reds leading it 2-0, scoring a couple in the second inning. Chris Spire standing on deck. Norman has the sign. And the 1-0. That's down low. Snap throw to first, and Dawson steps back. 2 balls, no strikes to Dave Cash. Cash signing as a free agent with the Expos. Two on the way. High and outside. 3 balls, no strikes to Dave Cash. Cash has walked 18 times this year. He's second to Tony Perez. Tony with 19 walks. Freddie down behind the pitching mound. Now walks back up. Steps into the pitching rubber and checks in with bench. The stretch and the pitch. That's ball 4, high and outside. Third walk issued by Freddie Norman. The second time he has walked Dave Cash. So with 2 away, the Expos with Cash at first, Dawson at second, and the batter will be Chris Spire. Spire hitting .250 with a home run and 8 RBIs. Bench out talking with Freddie Norman at the mound. Now heads back to the plate. Down at Atlanta, after 3.5 innings, it's all tied up. The Phillies 3, the Braves 3, and they've had 3 home runs in already in that particular game. There goes Dawson for third, and he goes in easily. Freddie not looking back at all, holding up his Cash at first base, so a stolen base for Andre Dawson, his 4th of the year. He is now 4 for 4. A pitch, a called strike to Spire. Norman sets and delivers. Spire takes strike 2 call. 0-2 the count to Spire. Home runs in that game at Atlanta already. Mike Schmidt, his 10th of the year, and Greg Luzinski, his 11th of the year for the Phils, and Willie Montanez, his 6th of the year for the Braves. The 0-2 is swung on and fouled straight back by Spire. Pittsburgh scoring 3 times in the first inning against San Diego in Pittsburgh. Leading 3-0, Tom Griffin for San Diego and Odell Jones on the mound for the Pirates. Norman in front of Spire. No balls, 2 strikes with Cash at first, Dawson at third. Freddie ready and delivers. High and inside with the slider, 1-2. Geronimo shading Spire a few steps toward right center field. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, fly ball, right field. Going back is Griffey. Still going on the run, reaches and makes the play. A fine play by Kenny Griffey on a well-hit ball off the bat of Chris Spire, just to the left of the 375 marker on the dead run. Hauls it in the middle of the warning track. So the Expos are out here in the third on a fine play by Ken Griffey. For Montreal, no runs, a hit, no errors. 2 runners left on base, and at the middle of the third, the Reds 2, the Expos nothing.
Man, I love to drive on the open road and listen to that old night wind blow. Chewing Red Fox, it sure does ease my mind. Riding this ribbon on through the dark, no place to stop, no place to park. Me and Red Fox chewing tobacco, making up lost time. The Red Fox folks know what they're doing when it comes to making tobacco for chewing. For relaxation, man, it's one of a kind. It's moist and soft and mild for sure. The flavor's fresh. The taste is pure. It settles you down and helps a man unwind. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with the picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco. Now it's better than ever. So when that highway starts to call, run with the fox that beats them all, Red Fox. 'Cause mister, taking it easy never tasted so good. Red Fox.
In the third inning, the Reds will send up Ken Griffey, Joe Morgan, and Danny Dreesen. Griffey bounced to Cash in the first inning. Ken, a even .300 batting average with 4 home runs and 20 RBIs. He's had 13 doubles and 2 triples. The Reds with 3 hits off Bonson, all 3 of them coming in the second inning when we scored our 2 runs. A single by Dreesen, a double by Bench, and a run-producing single off the bat of Freddie Norman. Stan Bonson, his 3rd start since joining Montreal, delivers to Griffey a fastball, a called strike. Tomorrow, 5:30 game, Gary Nolan and Jackie Brown. Griffey swings a bouncer. Perez can't get it. It's off his leg and on into right field, and we'll wait and see what they score that one. Hard ground ball hitting Tony on the right leg, it looked like, and on into right field, so we're going to credit Ken Griffey with a base hit. 4th hit in the game for the Reds. Here's Joe Morgan. Joe hit a hard one-hopper to Dave Cash to end the first inning. Reds 2, Montreal nothing. They got Griffey at first base. And he with 12 stolen bases. He's been caught twice. Reds has stolen a total of 73 on the year. Throw over to first. Griffey steps back. Morgan, a .287 batting average. 8 homers and 29 RBIs. Bonson checking with Carter as catcher, the stretch. And again a throw over to first, and Griffey back standing. Griffey off the bag at first. 1 foot on the turf, 1 in the sliding pit. Bonson ready. And he throws again over there. And again, Griffey back standing. So Stan Bonson paying a lot of attention to Kenny Griffey at first base. Bonson, again the stretch, and he throws again to first. 4 straight times now, Stan Bonson has thrown to first base, and now Morgan steps away from the plate. Now Joe back into the batter's box. And Bonson has not delivered to Morgan yet. Outfield, around to the right for Joe. Bonson to the belt. Griffey goes, the pitch is swung on and hit well into left center field, chasing it Valentine. He cannot get to it, it's short off the fence. On his way to third is Griffey. He makes the turn, and they're going to hold him right there as Spire's throw is right on target. Cut off by Tony Perez, but Ken Griffey had to hold up to see if Dawson was going to catch the ball. Ball hitting the very base of the fence and stopping right there. Did not rebound at all. So Joe Morgan with his 8th double of the year. And Dan Worthen will start throwing a left-hander down in the Montreal bullpen. That is hit number 6 for the Reds. Make out number 5. Hit number 5 for the Reds. Griffey at third base, Morgan at second. Nobody out, and here's Danny Dreesen. Monson winds and delivers. Dreesen takes a strike at the knees. Joe Morgan hitting one good to left center field, hitting at the very base of the fence. Time called now as Dreesen backs away from the plate. Apparently a ball getting loose down in the Montreal bullpen. Dreesen, a single in the second inning, leading off the inning, and scored on Bench's double. The 0-1. That's a breaking ball, called strike 2. So Stan Bonson quickly out on top of Danny Dreesen, 0-2. Montreal infield pulled in. Bonson, the 0-2. Fastball that swung on and bounced foul over to the Cincinnati dugout. Inning started off with Griffey singling to right field, a ball off Tony Perez's leg, and then Morgan the long double to left center. Bonson, the 0-2. Swung on and pulled foul just off the first base bag. So Danny hanging in with Stan Bonson. Dreesen with 30 RBIs, and he has hit 4 home runs this year. Carter hangs the sign. Bonson has winds and delivers. That's ball 1, ball bouncing away from Carter and up the third baseline. 1-2. Gary Carter blocking the ball and driving it up the third baseline where Bonson hustled over to pick it up. Left-hander Dan Worthen throwing in the Montreal bullpen. Expo outfield playing Dreesen straight away. The infield pulled in. George Foster on deck. Bonson, the 1-2 delivery. Swung on, hard ground ball, right at Case. Looks at Griffey, throws on to Perez, 1 away. So Griffey holding at third base, 1 out. Dreesen hitting that ball right on the nose. Here's George Foster. George bounced to Spire at shortstop in the second inning. He has a .301 batting average, with 12 home runs and 36 RBIs. Waiting on George to step in. Now he's ready, and Bonson has his sign and delivers the first pitch to George. Swung on, ground ball by Spire into left center field. Morgan scores, Morgan being waved in. Here's the throw, and what a throw, and he is out. Andre Dawson, a super throw from left center field, right on target, and they cut down Morgan. So the young center fielder, a strong arm, and they have 3 good arms in the outfield, the Expos, with Valentine, Dawson, and Cromartie, and it was proven right there. So the play going on Morgan, 8-2. Credit Foster with an RBI, his 37th of the year, and the Reds lead 3-0. 6th hit in the game for the Reds. Foster at first base, 2 away now, and Johnny Bench to the plate. John, that double off the very top of the fence in the second inning to score Dreesen. Takes an off-speed pitch outside. Well, a very strong throw by Andre Dawson to cut down Morgan at the plate for the second out of the inning. Pitch on the way. Bench swings and misses, and it's 1-1. Oster off the bag at first. Bonson the stretch throws over there, and George steps back. The 1-1 to Bench. Swung on, bouncer. Nice play. Chris Spire throwing back to second, but not in time. And Bench with an infield single, but a fine play by the Expos shortstop. Chris Spire going to the wall backhanding and throwing back to Cash for the hopeful force of Foster, but not in time. So Johnny with his second hit of the ball game. That's the fourth hit in the inning for the Reds. And stepping in is Dave Concepcion. Dave walked in the second. Reds now with 7 hits. Dave, a home run and 14 RBIs to go along with a .298 batting average. So a base hit right here should move Dave over the 300 mark. Bonson sets and delivers. A breaking ball is down low, blocked by Carter. 1-0. Chicago Cubs keep moving on, winning this afternoon 3-1 over the Giants. 1-0 pitch. Low and outside and dug out again by Gary Carter. 2 balls, no strikes. Left-hander Dan Warthen throwing in the Montreal bullpen. If David get on, we might see Warthen. Here's the 2-0. Swung on and popped foul. Out of play to the right. Down 2 balls for strike to Dave Concepcion. Foster at second, Bench at first. 1 run in. Monson to the belt delivers. A strike called, fastball, 2-2. First meeting of the 77 season, Montreal and Cincinnati. 2-2 on the way. That's high, a breaking pitch. Full count, so Foster and Bench will be on the move. The 2 away. Dave with 14 RBIs, and a base hit would surely score 1. Throw back and almost got him. Bonson throwing back to Spire, and Foster had to really hustle back hands first to beat the play. Throw just a little bit high, but a very close play. Three and 2 the count. A stretch. Runners go the pitch. Swung on and fouled over to the photographer's booth, the Expo dugout. The Reds this year, with the 3 runs they've scored so far tonight, have scored a total of 257 runs. Bonson ready, and again the 3-2. Here it is. Swung on and hit down the left field line. That'll score Foster. Extra bases. Bench to second. He's going to be waved in. Here's Spire with the ball. The throw to the plate. Not in time, and we lead it 5-0. Gary Carter reached for the ball to throw just a little off target. Spire having trouble getting rid of the ball, and the Reds lead it 5-0. Here comes Dick Williams, and that could well be all for Stan Bonson. So Davey gets his 15th and 16th RBIs of the year, his 6th double, and we lead it 5-0. Dick Williams just now arriving at the mound, and that's going to be it for Stan Bonson, as left-hander Dan Warthen is called on to relieve Mr. Bonson. So we have a break in the action here at Riverfront. The Reds leading the Expos by a score of 5-0 And we'll be back after this word.
Dancers and singers, high-flying swingers, something for everyone, Kings Island, for you. Kings Island's unfair to Dick Van Dyke. Yep, that's what I told him. I mean, just when I think I've seen everything there, I find something new. For example, there's the Screamin' Demon, a new ride that'll throw you for a loop. Then I saw a superb show, Chevrolet's Hooray for Hollywood. After that, I had to see the Wild Animal Safari with new wild animals from 3 different continents. Now, that's just the new stuff. So how do I stay and see it all? Well, let me put it this way. If you spot a tall, thin Yogi Bear at the park, don't be surprised if he answers to the name Dick.
A world full of fantasy, a place you should plan to see, a kingdom where all your dreams come true. Kings Island for everyone, Kings Island for you.
New pitcher for the Expos, left-hander Dan Warthen. Warthen has won 2 and lost 3. This will be his 12th appearance, his 6th in the relief role. He started 6 games, 1 complete game. Owns a 748 earned run average in 33 2/3 innings. Has allowed 30 hits. And his problem, control. He's walked 37 batters in those 33 2/3 innings. Has struck out 25. Well, he'll be facing Geronimo with Concepcion at second base and 2 away. The Reds have scored 3 times here in the 3rd. Gribby led off with a single. Morgan a double to deep left center field. Grecian bounced out, I should say grounded hard to Cash, and then Foster singled to center. Griffey scoring, and Morgan being cut down at the plate on a fine throw by the center fielder Andre Dawson. Then Bench a single, that ball that Spire grabbed backhanded in the hole, but could not force Foster, and then the big double on the 3-2 pitch off the bat of Dave Concepcion. All right, Warthen ready to go to work on Geronimo. The Chief hit into a force out in the first inning, or in the second inning, rather, the pitch. He swings and fouls straight back. Geronimo hitting .288, 4 home runs and 21 RBIs. Warthen checking in with Carter. Concepcion leads at second. The stretch. Warthen looks back at David. The pitch. That's low ball, 1-1. Now, Harry Carter takes a few steps out toward the mound and says something to Warthen. Stan Bonson works 2 2/3 innings, allowing 8 hits. Did not strike out anyone. He walked 1, and 5 runs, all of them earned. And, of course, Concepcion, his responsibility at second base. The pitch on the way. That's a curveball that bounces, and, again, Carter, a good play, blocking the ball, keeping it from getting through. The count goes 2-1 now to the Chief. Well, a win tonight would put us over the 500 mark, the first time since early in the season. Leading 5-0. Warthen to the belt. The 2-1. That misses outside. 3 balls to strike. Warthen losing his hat. They pointed out, man working 33 2/3 innings, and he's walked 37 batters. 1 intentional. And he does have control problems. The 3-1 on the way, high and inside, ball 4. So Warthen walks the first batter he faces, and we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
You're listening to WMNI-FM in Columbus, Ohio, featuring 50,000 watts of quadraphonic stereo music and Cincinnati Reds baseball. Be listening all day and all night to Quad 100.
Reds lead at 5-0. Freddie Norman at the plate, and Freddie jumped on the first pitch delivered by Bonson in the second inning and shot it into center field for an RBI. He takes inside from Warthen a ball. Freddie's first RBI of the year. That was his 4th hit of the year and 27 times the plate. He now has a 148 batting average. Runners at first and second. Wartham sets and his pitch. A strike called. 1-1. Geronimo at first base. Concepcion at second. We've scored 3 times here in the 3rd. Runners lead the 1-1. That's inside and low ball, and I don't think Gary Carter agreed with Jim Quick on that one, the plate umpire. Nevertheless, 2 balls a strike to Freddie. Outfield playing Norman straight away. Wartham ready and delivers. Norman swings and misses, and it evens at 2-2. Good crowd tonight. Return of Tony Perez, future Reds fans with us. The pitch swung on and missed, and that ends the inning as Freddie Norman strikes out on a 2-2 pitch. But in the inning, the Reds got 3 runs on 5 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left on base. And after 3 here at Riverfront, Cincinnati 5, Montreal nothing.
Lovers know that means true. So play that friendly sound, pass that great taste around. Someone will love her to another show. For more than 200 years, the Stroh family's been making great beer, taking pride in what they're doing it their own way, doing it the Stroh way.
Nancy Wilson for the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Montreal in the 4th inning will send up Ellis Valentine, Tony Perez, and Gary Carter. Valentine in the 1st inning ended the inning by taking a called 3rd strike on a 3-2 pitch. Ellis having a fine year to this point, a .314 batting average with 9 home runs and 27 RBIs. He's second on the Expo club to Tony Perez's 31. Tony with 31, and then Valentine with 27. Next is Gary Carter and Larry Parrish. They both have 20 RBIs. Freddie Norman has walked 3 in the Expos with 1 hit. That 1 hit coming in the 3rd inning on a check swing ground ball back to Freddie. Freddie getting it in his glove, but flipping it out, and Dawson, who runs quite well, was at first base easily. All right, Norman ready to go to work to Ellis Valentine. The 5-0 lead. The pitch swung on and missed. A fastball. Now, Lou Brock has stole his 875th base in the 1st inning tonight in St. Louis. Cardinals scored twice, and they lead the Dodgers 2-0 at the end of 1. Valentine swings at a screwball this time, doesn't get it, 0-2. But the Dodgers trailing the Cardinals 2-0 after 1 at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. Here the Reds lead 5-0. The 0-2 swung on, that's fouled back at us. Now holding 0-2 to Ellis Valentine. Geronimo shaded a couple of steps toward right center. Now moves back to straight away. The 0-2. That's high and inside, a slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Norman checking with bench, has his sign. And the 1-2. Again high, and it's even now at 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ellis Valentine. Perez on deck, and then it'll be Gary Carter. 2-2 on the way. That swung on and fouled out of play to the right. Count holding at 2 balls, 2 strikes to Valentine. Ready again, the 2-2. Swung on, that's looped into center field, leveled off for a base hit. Geronimo plays it on the bounce. So the second hit of the game for the Expos belongs to Ellis Valentine, and that'll bring Tony Perez to the plate. Tony, in the second inning, leading off, popped out to Johnny Bench in foul territory. Perez with a .285 batting average coming into tonight's game, 7 home runs and 31 RBIs, and Tony gets another big hand from the crowd here at Riverfront. First time up, a standing ovation accorded to the big dog. Many signs around the park welcoming Tony back. To pitch to him, he takes high ball. Pointed out, Tony leads the Expos in RBIs with 31. He's had 9 doubles. Norman sets, delivers. Perez swings and fouls straight back over our head. The count evens 1-1. Outfield playing Tony straight away. Joe Morgan shaded a few steps toward the second base bag. Davey double play depth, the pitch. Taken high, and it's 2-1. Reds leading at 5-0, scoring 2 in the second, 3 in the third. Norman ready and delivers. That's again high. 3 balls to strike to Perez. Tomorrow at 5:30, Gary Nolan for the Reds, Jackie Brown, the right-hander for the Expos. 3-1 delivery. That's high, ball 4. 4th walk issued by Freddie Norman. Freddie pretty much in the same pattern as his last game. He started off with a lot of control problems, then settled down to beat the Astros 4-0, gave them just 2 hits, but Freddie walked 8 batters in that game, and six of them came in the first 4 innings. Pedro Bourbon loosening down in the Reds bullpen. Gary Carter at the plate. Carter walked in the second inning. There goes the runner, and the pitch is swung on and hit the right field. Waiting on it is Ken Whippy, and Freddie not paying any attention at all to Ellis Valentine, and he had a running jump, and Carter swinging on the pitch and hitting a fly ball to Griffey and right. So, well, what it amounts to really is a break for the Reds. Well, 1 away, and here's Warren Cromartie. Cromartie hit into a double play to end the second inning, bouncing to Davey, and Davey getting the force of Carter at second, throwing on to Dreesen to complete the double play. Cromartie, a left-handed batter, the only one the Expo lineup. The pitch on the way to him, he swings and fouls. Cromartie leads the major leagues in doubles with 21. I tell you, they have some speed in their outfield with Cromartie, Dawson, and Valentine. Cromartie, a .294 batting average, 14 RBIs. He's had 2 triples to go along with the 21 doubles. Cromartie in a pretty good crouch at the plate. Norman sets, checks the runners, and delivers. Cromartie, a check swing foul, pitch up and in, and Cromartie down and sitting right on top of home plate. So Norman 0-2 now with Warren Cromartie. Perez first base, Valentine at second with one away. Reds leading at 5-0. For Bone loosening down in the Cincinnati bullpen. Larry Parrish waiting on deck. Now Norman the stretch and steps back off the pitching rubber. Ready with 4 walks here in the first 3+ innings. He's 0-2 with Cromartie. And delivers. That swung on and bounced to Concepcion. Morgan. Grecian, no throw over there, and they got the force of Tony Perez. Moving on to third base is Valentine. Cromartie now at first. 2 outs in the inning. Perez being forced, Concepcion to Morgan. And that'll bring Larry Parrish to the plate. Parrish struck out in the third inning, trying to check his swing, and the appeal down to Satch Davidson, the first base umpire, and Davidson said he went too far. Norman ready to deliver to Parrish. It swung on, a fly ball into shallow right center. Coming on is Ken Griffey. Pats the glove one time, and that's it. Freddie gets out of trouble here in the 4th inning for the Expos. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base, and at the middle of the 4th, Cincinnati 5, Montreal nothing.
When Fred Cousins goes to work on the Marathon Pipeline in Powell, Wyoming, he doesn't work alone. He gets together with guys like Tom Graham, Merle Sievers, and John Sparger. And together they go about the business of maintaining the pipeline. Fred Cousins could work alone. The job wouldn't get done as well, or at all, without the help of Tom, Merle, and John. Because each of them can do something the other one can't. So they get together to do it better. The company is like its people, because it is people. When Marathon found oil, our oil people got together with some pipeline people, who got together with some refining people, who got together with some service station people, so we could do it better.
We got together to do it better. We're Marathon.
Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better.
Reds lead 5-0 as they bat in the 4th inning, the top of the order. Rose, Griffey, and Morgan against the left-hander Dan Morton. Well, Dave Revering keeps on pounding at Indianapolis. Dave hitting a home run in the 1st inning at Evansville. Mike Lacrosse working for the Indians. Milt Wilcox on the mound for the Evansville club. Larson completes his warm-ups, and Pete Rose steps in. Pete 0 for 2. Line hard to Dawson in center field in the 1st inning, and bounced to Dave Cash at second base in the 2nd. Larson delivers to Rose, and it's very high and outside. Carter reaching high above his head. Ball 1. Dan Bonson worked 2 2/3 innings, allowing 8 hits. Rose swings on the pitch, grounds to Spire at short. Chris throwing on to Perez, 1 away. Ken Griffey to the plate. Kenny 1 for 2, grounded to second in the 1st, and hit a hard ground ball off the leg of Tony Perez on into right field in the 3rd for a base hit. Scored a run. Talking about Bonson, working 2 2/3 innings, 8 hits, walked 1, 5 runs, all of them earned. Larson shakes off a sign, now delivers to Griffey, and it's low and inside a ball. to the plate, Warthen. A strike at the knees, 1-1. Kenny hitting .302. Came into the game even .300. Warthen delivers. Griffey takes. Strike 2. Warthen gets a fastball in again at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ken Griffey with 1 out. Morgan on deck. Pitch on the way, outside with a breaking ball. 2-2. Warthen came on to face Geronimo in the 3rd inning, walked him, and then struck out Norman to end the inning. His 2-2 delivery swung on, line to right field, a base hit. Valentine plays it on the bounce, and Ken Griffey with his 2nd hit of the ball game, the 1st off Warthen, and the 9th in the game for the Reds. 1 away, and here's Joe Morgan. Joe 1 for 2 after grounding out in the 1st inning. Hard to Cash. He doubled to deep left center field. The ball hitting just at the base of the fence. Warthen ready and throws over to first, and they're going to call a balk on Dan Warthen. And the reason for that is Warthen brought his right leg back behind the pitching rubber and then threw over to first, and the left-hander cannot do that. So a balk call on Warthen moves Griffey on to second base. Warthen ready and delivers to Morgan, high and inside a ball. St. Louis leading the Dodgers 2-0. 2nd inning at St. Louis. 8th Falcone for the Cardinals. Rao for the Dodgers. Swinging a foul by Morgan. It's 1-1. 3rd inning at Pittsburgh. San Diego and the Pirates tied 3-3. So San Diego spotted the Pirates 3 in the 1st and it's come back to tie it. Rays leading the Phillies 5-4. 7th inning at Atlanta. Warthen checking Griffey, now steps back off the pitching rubber. New York at Houston, 3rd inning, no score. Warthen ready and delivers. Morgan takes a curveball that bounces 3 feet in front of the plate, and I tell you, Gary Carter is getting a real workout back there tonight. A lot of short hops, long hops, high throws, high pitches. 2-1 the count to Morgan. Griffey at second leads. Warthen to the belt and delivers. That's again in the dirt and blocked by Carter, and Gary says, "Geez." Three balls a strike now to Joe Morgan. Well, the Cardinals have picked up another run in the 2nd inning and now lead the Dodgers by a score of 3-0. The American League, Baltimore leading Chicago 5-1, 6th inning at Baltimore. Texas and Boston postponed rain. 3-1 on the way. Swung on a 2-bouncer to Cash at second. On to Perez, and on to third goes Ken Griffey as Cash throws out Morgan. 2 away, and Danny Dreesen steps in. Other scores in the American League: Minnesota leading New York 1-0, 4th inning at Yankee Stadium. And Kansas City at Milwaukee, the Brewers leading 1-0, 3rd inning. Later on, Cleveland at California. Warthen delivers to Dreesen, down low, a ball. Cleveland will be at California, and Detroit will be at Oakland. There's some activity down in the Montreal bullpen. It looks like Santo Alcala up to throw. 1 ball, no strikes to Dreesen, the pitch. And he takes a strike, 1-1. Jim Quick, the plate umpire. Satch Davison at first base. Eric Gregg second base and Ed Barco at third. Ed with his right hand taped up. They got hit by a foul ball. There's ball 2 down low to Dreesen. 2-1. Griffey at third base with 2 out. Reds with a 5-0 lead. Orphan working from the stretch position. He sets. Delivers. Dreesen, a line shot to right field, a base hit. Playing in his Valentine, making a big turn is Dreesen, and Danny gets his 31st RBI, his second hit of the ball game. The Reds lead it 6-0. Reds now with 10 hits in the first 4 innings. That'll bring George Foster to the plate. George 1 for 2 and a run scored and an RBI. He drove in our third run in the third inning when the Reds scored 3 times. The other 2 runs being driven in by Concepcion in that 3-run third. George takes a curve, a called strike. The Reds leading 6-0. Warthen ready. And delivers. Swung on and fouled by Foster. And Warthen out in front 0-2 now to George. Santo Alcala, right-hander, throwing in the Montreal bullpen. This is the first of 4 with the Expos. Tomorrow at 5:30, and then the big doubleheader on Banner Day Sunday. Look at the strikeout leader in the National League Sunday, Steve Rogers. Pitch on the way. Foster takes it low and inside, 1-2. Rogers and Stanhouse will go to the mound for the Expos Sunday. One-two delivery. That's just low and inside. Count evens 2-2. For the Reds Sunday, it'll be Pat Zachary and Jack Billingham. Gary Nolan, Jackie Brown tomorrow night, 2 right-handers. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and hit down the left field line. A fair ball. It hits in the screen. Well, George got out in front on that one and hit an absolute rope down the left field line. The ball hitting right in the middle of the foul screen, about 15 feet up, and the Reds lead it 8-0. For Foster, his 12th home run, and George now will make that Foster's 13th home run, and he now has 39 RBIs. Boy, that one got out of here in a hurry. Third time this year that George has used the foul screen to stop a home run. Now here's Bench. Don swings and a little bouncer to Warthen off to the right of the mound. He has it, flips it to Perez, and that's the inning. But in the inning, the Reds got 3 more runs on 3 hits. There were no errors, no one left on base, and at the end of 4, Cincinnati 8, Montreal nothing. It'll be Andre Dawson leading off the 5th, and back with the action, Marty Brenneman.
Okay, Joe, Dawson is 1 for 1. He had a Norman tried to short hop, and the 3rd inning ball bounded back toward the plate, and Andre ended up with an infield hit. He's going to be leading off the inning as we go to the top of the 5th, and then to pinch hit for Danny Warthen, it's going to be Sam Mejias. Then we'll move back to the top of the Expos batting order for Dave Cash. 8-0 Reds, as the Reds are rolling out the offense in a big way tonight. Stan Bonson, the Expos starter, only around for 2 2/3 innings. The Reds roughed him up for 5 runs, and then against the left-hander Warthen, a 3 spot in the 4th inning, with 2 of them coming in on George Foster's 13th long ball of the year. Okay, here's Dawson. Freddie has allowed a couple of hits through 4 innings, and this man has had 1 of them. The pitch to the right-handed batter is cut on and missed. Strike 1. Other hit by Montreal, a leadoff 4th inning single to center by Ellis Valentine. Freddie rocks on the mound. He delivers, and this is a Scroogey that's in there for a strike. Quickly out ahead of Dawson, 2 strikes. Outfield playing him just about straight away. Infield at normal depth. Way out in front of the off-speed pitch, and Dawson a bouncing foul ball off the third base line. Well, Mike Schmidt having a big night tonight. Down in Atlanta, he's clubbed his second home run. That came in the 7th with 2 mates aboard, his 11th. And right now, the Philadelphia Phillies hold a 7-5 lead over Atlanta. They were trailing 5-4 before Schmidt's second of the night. Pitch is high for a ball, 1-2. Well, that Philadelphia Philly club is coming. But the Cubs, they keep right on rolling along. Pitch, cut on and hit by the mound. Morgan plays and fires on to Dreesen, 1 out. Sam Mejias will now pinch hit for the Expo pitcher Dan Worthen, and we'll pause for station identification on the Reds Baseball Network.
WMNI FM, Quad 100 in Columbus, Ohio. Voice of the Cincinnati Reds. Join the King and his court for an exciting body and downright good time this Friday and Saturday at King Henry's Dinner Theater in the Southern Hotel. Call 221-4211 for reservations.
Manager Dick Williams going to his bench here in the 5th inning with 1 gone as Dawson has opened the frame by bouncing out to Joe Morgan, and Sam Mejias, a right-handed batter, will now stand in to hit off Norman. Mejias carries to the plate a batting average of 188, has had a home run on RBI, his first big league home run coming last week to win a game for this Montreal club. The pitch to him is cut on and lined to right field. That's a base hit. Rippey plays it on the hop, and Montreal has its 3rd hit of the night. Scoreboard stumper, who was the last National League hitter to lead the league in singles 2 consecutive years. The last National League hitter to lead our league in singles 2 consecutive seasons. On at first, Sam Mejias, pinch hit single. That'll bring up Cash. He's walked and walked again. Norman's having trouble throwing the ball in the strike zone against the Montreal leadoff hitter. Ball is high. Dodgers, Cardinals, they've completed 3, and it remains St. Louis with Falcone 3 against the Dodgers and Sutton nothing. The 1-0 to the plate. That's over for a strike. Cash leaning away from the pitch. But Jim Quick fires a right hand skyward indicating strike. Santo Alcala, he'll be the new Montreal pitcher when the Reds come to bat in the bottom of the inning. Infield, a double play depth. Norman straightens up on the mound, delivers ground ball second. Morgan on to Concepcion, on to Dreesen, 3rd double play of the night. No runs, a hit. As the Reds turn another double play, got 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, and now end the Montreal 5th inning proceedings. No runs, a hit, and after 4.5, it's the Reds 8 and the Expos nothing. Looking for a terrific gift for Dad on Father's Day? Well, you'll find some great things at the Cincinnati Reds 580 gift shop. One gift item that's a 580 exclusive is a handsome metal serving tray. It measures 18 inches by 13 inches, and it features the official team picture of the 76 world champions in brilliant color. This red serving tray and lots more great gift items are on the shelves at the Reds 580 gift shop, corner of 6th and Walnut, downtown Cincinnati. Stop by on your way to the ball game. Right-hander Santo Alcala becomes the 3rd Montreal pitcher to work in this game as the Reds go to the 5th inning out in front 8-0. It'll be Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, and Freddie Norman, the bottom 3rd of the batting order, against Alcala, who makes his 5th appearance and his 4th, or his 2nd, in relief since coming over from our ball club. He delivers a fastball low to Davey, who walked in the 2nd and delivered a 2-run double in the 3rd. That one is over on the outside part of the plate for a call strike. Doug Flynn, busy down in the bullpen with the big leads. Sparky Anderson will probably be going to substitutions. Here's a slow grounder, 3rd base side. Parrish charges up. He throws, not in time. Davey with a full cut and a slow bouncing ball toward 3rd. Parrish was playing him deep. He came charging in, lost his cap in the process, and Concepcion was flying across the bag by the time the throw got to Perez. So Davey continues to swing the bat. That double he had back in the 3rd sent his batting average up over 300. And now he's at his 2nd base hit of the night, and the Reds have collected their 12th. Geronimo has reached on a fielder's choice, has also had a base on balls. Alcala with a check, the pause and the pitch. High for ball one. What we're seeing tonight is a thing that was most often talked about in spring training. When you talk about Montreal, their success would be dictated by how effective their pitching was. High and outside, ball two. And here Montreal is playing their 52nd game of the year, and really and truly, Dick Williams, their new manager, has not a set pitching rotation. Of course, Steve Rogers, considered by many at this point right now in the season to be the best pitcher in the National League. He's their mainstay. Here's a high fly ball. Hit into left center field. Cromartie is under and waiting, and the left-hander makes the catch. So one out as Concepcion returns to first, and the batter will be Freddie Norman. Freddie singled across a run in the second and the third. He struck out swinging. Montreal still looking for pitching, and despite the 5-game winning streak, it is still a dire concern of the Montreal manager, Williams. Ball one to Norman. Reds were up and down in order in the first inning, and since that time, they have been bombarding Montreal pitching with base hits galore. Freddie takes, throw down to first base, and Davey back in sliding. A ball and one strike as pitcher faces pitcher here in the fifth. Freddie stepping out of the box and taking a look down to third base coach George Scherger. David with a good lead at first. Now the 1-1 pitch. Norman squares to bunt and fouls it off. Quickly, Perez and Parrish charging on the corners, but the foul ball gives Alcala the count advantage at 1-2. Dodgers have gone scoreless in the top of the fourth inning. St. Louis building up an early 3-0 lead behind Pete Falcone and trying to send the Dodgers down to their 9th loss in the last 13 games. Here's a pop-up on the bunt attempt. Caught by Parrish, throwing to first, but he cannot double up Concepcion. Norman, a pop-up on a 1-2 pitch caught by Parrish, and now it'll be Pete Rose who's gone 0 for 3. Rose has not had a hit in his last 11 times to the plate. He went hitless in the 2-game series in New York. Not since doubling in the 6th inning of our game 5 days ago here against Houston has Pete had a hit. His average dropping from 316 or from 325 down to its present 307. He's lost 18 points on his batting average. Missing outside and high with a fastball, Alcala. David at first and leading against a holding Perez. 2 men out. Rose swings and he misses. A ball and 1 strike. Joe was talking about the extreme youth on this Expos team, and that it is. You talk about their outfield and the infield with the exception of Perez and Cash. Here's a slicing drive to left field. That is going to be hit. It goes to the corner. Davey long-legging it around third. He's being waved to the plate. Firing homeward and safe. Rose doubling in Concepcion from first base. So the 9th Cincinnati run, and Pete has broken his 0 for 11 slump. With a 2-base hit out of the wrong barrel, his 17th double of the year and his 24th RBI. Ken Griffey, who has had 2 of Cincinnati's 13 hits. 2 singles and 2 runs scored. And that 2-bagger for Rose was the 500th of his major league career. As now the crowd here at Riverfront takes a turn at giving one of the greats in not only Reds history, but in all of baseball history, a standing ovation. Griffey was in the batter's box. He turns now and walks back toward the on-deck circle to give Pete Rose, number 14, the captain of this Reds ball club, his fitting due. We had a couple of standing ovations tonight. One for Tony Perez earlier upon his return home, and now a standing ovation in the 5th for Rose. Crowd quiets down, settles back into their seats, and Griffey will stand in to bat off of Santo Alcala. 9-0 as the Reds get 2 in the second, 3 each in the third and fourth, and now 1 here in the fifth. Griffey in the pitch. Strike one call, fastball. Swing and a miss. Kenny fooled on the pitch. Alcala with an off-speed delivery down, and Griffey had about a 3/4 cut on it. Count, no balls and 2 strikes. Griffey now batting .306. He started out tonight hitting .300, so he's tacked 6 points on. He fouls this one back to the screen. Tomorrow night we'll be going at 5:30 as Gary Nolan tries to win his 5th consecutive game of the year against right-hander Jackie Brown, himself a former American leaguer, as was the man who started out the evening for the Expos and Stan Bonson. Rose leading off second, 2 strikes a count on Griffey with a run home and 2 out. Alcala kicks and fires. Griffey takes it up, a ball. Bonson went 2 2/3, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits, worth an inning and a third, 3 hits, 3 runs. And the Reds have gotten to their former teammate for a run here in the fifth. Here's a ground ball off the glove of Parrish, on into left field. Rose will score. Griffey has his 3rd hit, and the Reds are in double figures run-wise at 10. That ball hit wide of third. Parrish quickly off to his left, got leather on it, but the ball skidded away from him, rolling out toward left field. It got by Tim Foley, or Chris Fire, and that allowed the run home from second base and Pete Rose. Here's Joe Morgan. Ball is high, fastball. Morgan has bounced out to second twice, and he's had a 3rd inning double to left center field at short half the fence. Not missing, ball 2, 2-0. Perez playing behind Griffey at first base. Morgan swings, fly ball, back into deep right center field. Drifting back on it, Valentine underweighting and makes the catch. In the fifth for Cincinnati, 2 more runs on 3 more hits, 1 stranded. We move to 6th inning action at Riverfront Stadium with the score. Reds 10, Expos nothing. With Joe Nuxall, Marty Brenneman back at Riverfront Stadium with a Reds story as we head on to the 6th inning, and it is a 10-0 Reds lead in this lid lifter of a 4-game series against Dick Williams' Montreal Expos. Got a change for Cincinnati. Pete Rose being lifted early as the Reds have built up the big lead. Doug Flynn now playing third base. And we would imagine more changes will be in the offing as this game continues to progress. Montreal will be sending to the plate Chris Fire, Ellis Valentine, and Tony Perez. Norman, allowing only 3 hits, has had control trouble, walking 4, but has been aided immeasurably by 3 double plays that the Cincinnati Reds defense has turned. Fire has hit into one of them. That came in the first inning following a walk to Cash, and then Chris robbed on a fine defensive play by Ken Griffey, racing back into deep right center field to pick off his fly ball with a couple of men on and 2 out in the third. A former San Francisco Giant who got off to a slow start after coming over to the Expos, but has been playing very well of late. The pitch, cut on and hammered foul off the right field line. Griffey starts over but will not have a play. Freddie has struck out only 2 batters. He got Valentine in the first looking and got Parrish leading off the third swinging. Here's his 0-1, and that bounces up and by Johnny Bench. A ball and 1 strike on Spire. With a 10-0 lead, you have to like our chances of going over 500 for the first time since after Game 3 of this season. The Reds took 2 straight from San Diego, then lost a game. Scroogie in there for a strike, 1-2, and that's the last time that Cincinnati has been over the 500 mark. But tonight, with a 10-0 lead in the 6th inning, it would appear that win number 27 is well in sight. Cut on, fly ball right field. Griffey zeroing in on it as he moves toward the line, reaches up and makes the catch. Ellis Valentine, the one-out batter, he's had a third of the Expo 3 hits with a single leading off the fourth inning after Norman got him looking with a called third strike to retire the first inning. One of the fine young players in the National League, Ellis Valentine. Certainly his numbers would indicate that. 316 average, 9 home runs, and 27 runs batted in. The pitch taken up for a ball. Well, the first announcement concerning National League All-Star voting came out today, and we'll have a report from Gillette All-Star headquarters on our Scores and Comments show immediately following Joe Star, the game program, on most of these same stations tonight. 2 balls and no strikes on Valentine. Norman fires, pitch cut on, hit to right field. That'll be in for a hit. So Valentine, with his second base hit off Norman, hit number 4 for Montreal, and back to the plate comes Tony Perez. Tony popped up to Johnny Bench and foul ground in the second, and then Norman lost him to a fourth inning walk. Well, we've turned 3 double plays tonight. The situation presents itself right now. Let's see what happens. The pitch to Perez is taken high, ball 1. Tony leads the Expos in runs batted in with that 31 total, and he leads the National League in sacrifice flies, has had 6. 1 out, 1 on, pitch is inside, ball 2, 2-0. Two balls and no strikes with Gary Carter kneeling in the on-deck circle. 10-0 Reds in the top of the 6th. Swing at a miss. And I want to tell you, Perez went into a deep swing on that one. Norman a strike to him as Tony steps away from the plate and chats with Johnny Bench.
Just trying to hit that one back to Olympic Stadium.
Yes. He got his money's worth on that cut. This one cut on and missed, strike 2, and he had another deep spin. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oh, we're looking forward to going up to Montreal and working in that new stadium next weekend. Talking with some of the folks with the Montreal club, and they say, boy, you're in for a real treat. High fastball has struck out Perez swinging. Well, Freddie gets his third and will be working to Carter. We'll have the Phillies in town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, and again, we remind you, 8:35 will be the start time for Monday night's game, which means it will be on the air with the pregame shows at 8:05 on most of these same stations. Tuesday, Wednesday night at 8:05. Then the Reds will be going on the road for 3 games in Montreal and 3 more in Philadelphia. 2 out with a runner. Valentine leading at first. Carter checking his swing on the pitch high. Ball 1. In the 8th inning now in Atlanta, and that Mike Schmidt 7th inning 3-run homer continues to have the Philadelphia club out in front 7-5. There goes Valentine. Pitches up and in. Bench never even attempting to fire down to second. That's the kind of jump that Valentine got on Norman. Dick Williams electing to run 10 runs behind, but I would imagine his feeling on that is that what difference does it make at this point? They have stolen their second base of the night. Here's a high fly ball headed toward Foster in left center field. Pounds the glove, circling, and he's got it. That retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We played 5.5. It's the Reds 10, the Expos nothing.
It's all down to the bottom of the 9th with the sacks loaded, 2 strikes on the batter, and the score is 2-1. Phillips is back into the batter's box now. Pitcher has the ball. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch.
Plan right now. Call New Sash, the window experts, 267-8396. The winter of 77 won't be forgotten easily, and this coming winter is forecasted as cruelly cold. New Sash, the original replacement window, features the tilt-in window for easy cleaning. Your New Sash windows will perfectly fit because they're custom made to stop heat and cold air in its tracks. Thermopane glass adds double insulation. Your monthly fuel bills will be up to 30% lower with New Sash windows protecting and beautifying your home. BJ Industries is your new sash distributor. Outside Columbus, call Collect, area 614-267-8396. You're a winner with new sash.
Whether you're carrying your own homemade banner on the AstroTurf or watching the fun from your seat in the stadium, you'll have a ball Sunday afternoon during the Reds' annual Banner Day Parade. The Reds will battle the Expos in a big doubleheader first game kicking off at 1:15. Plenty of seats are available. Then between games, fans show off their banner and compete for cash prizes. It's always a fun-filled afternoon. Make plans to be on hand Sunday afternoon for the Reds Expos doubleheader on Banner Day. Couple of changes for Montreal at shortstop Pepe Frias. At first base, Jose Morales. And at second base, Pete McCannon as Dick Williams makes 3 changes on his infield. Danny Dreesen leading off the bottom of the 6th inning, taking a ball from Santo Alcala. Dreesen swings on this one and fouls it back. So Morales at first, McCannon at second, Frias at shortstop. 1 ball, 1 strike against Dreesen, who has had 2 singles and 3 trips, has scored 2 and knocked in 1. Swinging and missing on Alcala's change. Ball and 2 strikes. Got Pedro Bourbon throwing and loosening up alongside the Reds' right-handed reliever is Ray Knight. Bouncing up there and off Carter, and Gary continues to take the brunt of pitches up and down and in and out tonight. Two balls and 2 strikes. Here's Alcala with a wind and the pitch. Cut out, fly ball, hit deep to right field. If it's fair, it's gone, and that's going to be a foul ball. Dreesen bidding for number 5 of the year, and the ball just going foul as it carried down the right field line. So the count holding at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Danny waits on the pitch, takes it low, ball 3, full count. Dreesen has added some 7 points to his batting average tonight, now standing at .268. Then again, just about everybody getting well. The Reds have banged out 14 hits. Ground ball, shortstop. Pepe Frias gets a chance. He fields flawlessly, and Morales takes a low throw for the out. Here's George Foster. He's a man who has led the hit parade with a run-scoring single, and number 13 of the year with Danny Dreesen on base in the 4th inning. Foster now has knocked in 39 runs, and he and Johnny Bench are tied for club leadership in the RBI department. Well, you can put the Dodgers in a deeper hole because the Cardinals have scored 3 more times in the bottom of the 4th inning and now lead it 6-0. St. Louis 6, Dodgers nothing. Through 4.5 innings of play in St. Louis. Ball 1 to Foster. L.A. lost 2 out of 3 in Chicago, and they are about to lose their 2nd straight to the Cardinals. Here's a smash, backhanded by Parrish, long throwing in time, and there are 2 men out. Reds gift cards make a perfect gift for Father's Day, graduation, birthdays, any occasion. They're available by mail and at the Red Stadium and downtown ticket offices. They come in denominations of $6.50, $4.50, and $3.50. Treat someone to all the fun and excitement of Reds baseball. Johnny Bench with 2 out has doubled, had an infield hit and 3 trips. John fouls it back. So Alcala, after allowing 2 runs to cross against him in the 5th inning, trying to retire the Reds in order here in the 6th. Gotten Dreesen and Foster on groundouts and is ahead of strike on Bench. John levels the bat, now waits, and the pitch coming. Fastball poured right down the heart of the plate for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. That one way inside as Bench bails out in a hurry. It goes back to the screen. One ball and 2 strikes. Alcala against Johnny Bench with a wind and the pitch. Breaking ball missing outside. 2-2. John swings, hammers it to left field. Cromartie makes a catch, and that's the inning. The Reds are out in order in the sixth, and after 6 complete innings of play, it's Cincinnati 10 and the Expos nothing. As we move to the final 3 innings of action here, it's a 10-0 Reds lead over this Expo ball club. Sparky Anderson, as he has done so many times on a big offensive night for his ball club, now dips deep into his bench. We've got 1, 2, 3 changes, make it 4 with a new pitcher on the mound. And here to tell you about him and call the 7th, Joe Nutso.
All right, Marty, a new battery for the Reds. Bill Plummer behind the plate and Pedro Bourbon on the mound. Ray Knight goes to third base, and Doug Flynn moves from third to second. Morgan out of the lineup, bench, and, of course, Freddie Norman. Leading off here in the 7th will be Warren Cromartie for the Expos. They trail 10-0. Bourbon delivers, and Cromartie takes inside a ball. Dale Murray throwing down in the Cincinnati bullpen. Bourbon delivers, swung on, ground ball. Concepcion is short, has it, throwing to Dreesen, 1 away. We'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
This is WMNI FM in Columbus, Ohio, inviting you to stay tuned to Quad 100 immediately following today's game for the very best in quadraphonic stereo music. And now back to Joe and Marty.
All right, the pitch to Parrish is a check swing foul. Parrish 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and hit fly ball to right. Bourbon is making his 24th appearance of the year. He is 0-3 on the year with a 3.08 earned run average. He delivers the 0-1 to Parrish. Outside, a breaking ball, 1-1. Freddie Norman worked 6 innings, allowing 4 hits, striking out 3 and walking 4. And we would have to assume that maybe Freddie's back was acting up just a bit on him. A swing and a grinder off the glove of Bourbon. To Flynn, to Dreesen, and they get it. Well, that ball hitting off the glove of Pedro, a hard smash, and directly to Doug Flynn, who threw Parrish out easily. So the play going 1-4 to 3, 2 away, and Andre Dawson to the plate. Dawson, 1 for 2. He had that base hit back in the 3rd inning, a ball that Norman threw out of his glove, actually, and toward home plate, and Dawson reaching first, easily bench fielding the ball, but did not attempt to throw. First pitch is inside to Dawson, a ball. Bourbon works, Dawson swings and hits it well to right field, going back Griffey, looking up, and there goes the shutout. Andre Dawson with his 4th home run of the year, the opposite field, and that ball well out of the ballpark, and it's a 10-1 ball game. 5th hit in the game for Montreal. With 2 away, we'll have a pinch hitter, and it's going to be Barry Foote to hit for Santo Alcala. Tom Walker throwing down in the Expo bullpen. Foote hitting .250. Driven in 8 runs, 2 homers, 3 doubles, a triple. Foote 0 for 1 pinch hitting this year for Montreal. 2 away and a run in for the Expos. Pedro delivers a breaking ball, swung on and missed. Bourbon back for the plate. Check swing, and it's outside, 1-1. The 1-1. Just low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bill Plummer, as we pointed out, behind the plate. Knight at third and Flynn at second. The changes in the lineup along with Bourbon. They swing and a ground ball off the end of the bat to Dreesen at first. Dan waves Bourbon away, goes to the bag, and that's it. In the inning for the Expos, a run on a hit, a home run by Dawson. Now, there's no one left on base. The middle of the 7th, Cincinnati 10, Montreal 1. New pitcher on the mound for the Expos, the Ford used, is right-hander Tom Walker. Walker making his 2nd appearance since rejoining the Expos. He's worked 2 innings, allowing 3 hits, 2 runs, and that stands for a 9 earned run average. He will be facing, in the 7th inning, Dave Concepcion, Cesar Geronimo, and Doug. We'll wait and see who the third batter will be in the inning. We might see a pinch hitter for Barbone, Dale Murray, throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Bill Plummer hitting in the 9th position, so Bill will be the third batter in the inning. Santo Alcala worked 2 innings, allowing 3 hits and 2 runs. First pitch to Concepcion is swung on and hit into left center field, where Dawson is there waiting to make the play. One away, and Geronimo to the plate. David had been on all 3 times tonight, and walk in the 2nd inning, a 2-run double in the 3rd, and a infield single in the 5th. Geronimo 0 for 2 and a walk. Walker delivers. That ball's hit well to right field, and that's number 5 for the Chief. Oh, he jumped all over that one. The ball hitting in the well back in the first deck, and he really got into that one. His 5th home run of the year, and would you believe he hit 2 last year, all year. Well, the Chief really hammering here this year. His 5th home run, and the Reds lead it 11-1. All right, here's Bill Plummer, and Bill up for the first time in the game. Plummer with a 178 batting average. Bill has driven in 2 runs, has 3 doubles. Walker delivers curveball, a strike call. Doug Flynn on deck. 1 run in, 1 out. Walker works inside with a fastball. 1-1. Plum swings and grounds foul off the 3rd baseline, and right now we have a light downfall, a little sprinkling of rain here at Riverfront. I thought it was very unusual that fans would start leaving in the 7th inning, not at Riverfront Stadium, other places, but not here. And we checked around, and a very light rain falling. Swinging a ground ball to Frias at short. He throws on to Morales. 2 away. Now to bring Doug Flynn to the plate, and Doug hitting an even 200 with 3 RBIs and a double. Walker delivers to Flynn a curveball in for a called strike. Stan Bonson started for Montreal, Dan Warthen, and Alcala. The 0-1. Flynn swings on a fastball, doesn't get it, 0-2. Bonson 2 2/3 innings, Warthen an inning in the 3rd, and Alcala 2. Had a total of 15 hits in the game. Breaking pitch low and outside. A ball, 2 strikes to Doug Flynn. Outfield straight away for Doug. Walker winds his pitch. And swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. Again the 1-2. Swung on and missed. And Doug Flynn strikes out to end the inning. But the Reds got a run on Geronimo's 5th home run of the year. No errors, no one left on base. And at the end of 7, Cincinnati 11, Montreal 1. 7-inning totals show Montreal with a run on 5 hits, no errors. The Reds 11 runs, 15 hits, no errors. And be Pete Buchanan to lead it off here in the 8th inning, and back with the action, Marty Brenneman.
Okay, Joe. McCannon up for the first time tonight. He came on to play second base and took over for David Cash earlier. The Bourbon pitches low, ball 1. Final score in the National League. Phillies over the Braves 7-5. Reed the winner in relief. Campbell the loser in relief. Here's a swing and a miss. Count levels to the right-handed batting Pete McCannon. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bourbon pitches and McCannon swings and does not get it. Strike 2. Pedro in with a 1-2 delivery and struck him out with a pitch away. McCannon went after a bad pitch. Bourbon's first strikeout. That'll bring up Pepe Frias. He, like McCannon, also did not start the game. Came on to play shortstop when Chris Thayer was lifted. Bourbon delivers, and Frias swings and misses. He's batting 100, has had a hit in 10 times up this season. That pitch is outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Outfield playing Frias to hit the other way. Griffey pulled well off the line in right field. In fact, is playing in a normal right center field depth. Call strike, 1-2. Ellis Valentine on deck as the Expos bat here in the 8th inning with 1 out. This one bounced to the mound. Bourbon climbs to the top of the summit to play it and throws him out. 2 away. Joe Kerrigan, a right-hander, gets ready for Montreal. And as Frias taps back to the box, it means that Valentine will be coming up with 2 men out. He has struck out and singled twice. Also has had a stolen base. His 7th of the year. Ground ball slowly hit third base side, charging Knight. Ray has it, gets rid of the throw, but out at first. They call out. Looked like Valentine had that throw beat, but Danny Dreesen with a big stretch took Ray Knight's throw in a close play. Satch Davidson calls out, and that's the inning. 3 up and 3 down. After 7.5, the Reds 11, the Expos 1. Tonight's game opens up a 7-game homestand for the Reds here at Riverfront. The Expos are here this weekend, then it'll be the Phils for 3 games next week. Looking ahead, the Dodgers and the Giants will be in town in late June, and then in July, the Braves, Astros, and Cardinals will visit. Make plans now and purchase your tickets in advance in Hillsboro, Ohio at Hillsboro Bank and Savings. In Springfield at Sears. In Connersville, Indiana at Shoebies. In Newcastle at Rose City Bowl. And in Frankfort, Kentucky at Sears. Ken Griffey will stand in for openers in the bottom of the 8th inning, and further changes for Montreal. Pete McCannon, who had been playing second base, moves to right field, and Wayne Garrett is now at second. Tom Walker back for his 2nd inning of pitching. And facing Griffey, who has already had 3 singles, 3 consecutive singles, since bouncing out to second in the 1st inning. $39,187 here tonight. 39,187. 11-1, the Reds lead it. Scored 10 times before Montreal got a home run from Dawson in the 7th inning, and Geronimo offset that with a blast in the bottom of the same frame. Strike is called to Kenny. Dodgers have scored a pair. In the 6th inning, it's the Cardinals 6 and LA 2. Checks his swing, fastball over. 2 strikes to count. Now the pitch. Cut on, foul down the left field line and out of play. Will McInerney throwing now for Montreal. They've worked Bonson, Worthen, Alcala, and in his 2nd inning of pitching is right-hander Tom Walker. Carter flashes a sign. Griffey swings and he fouls, and Kenny must have bounced that ball off of his leg because he goes down into a sitting position at the plate, now comes back up. Larry Starr, our trainer, out to check things out with Ken Griffey. Well, the rain that so quickly started just as quickly subsides as the fans now start trickling back down toward the lower seating area. Talking about the Dodgers, we remind you that all seats have been sold for that Reds LA doubleheader on Sunday, June 26th, but a good supply of seats are still available for the LA games on Friday, June 24th and Saturday, June 25th. Hope you'll be on hand for this big series. And be sure to purchase your tickets in advance. That series looks like it's going to be getting bigger and bigger as the days of June come and go because the Reds are hot and the Dodgers are not. Pitch is swung on, fly ball left field. Cromartie has it in his tracks and he makes the catch. Griffey, the first eighth inning out, and the batter will be Ray Knight. The attendance tonight of 39,187 brings the total seasons paid to 819,313. Knight, in the brief chances he's had to play this season, has shown he can swing the bat up here. He looks at a curve for a strike. Ray batting .400 has been up 10 times with 4 hits, a double, a triple, and 3 RBIs. Missing outside, Walker, 1-1. Now Jim Quick inspecting the baseball and fires it on back to the mound. One the count on Knight with one man out and Danny Dreesen waiting on deck. Inside to the right-handed batter, ball 2, 2-1. This will be the 17th Cincinnati at-home win this season against 11 losses. On the road, we have won 10 and lost 15. Ball 3. Tommy Walker behind, needing a strike, sends in the pitch, and Knight takes a fastball inside, and that's ball 4. Knight serves a base on balls as he goes down to first base. First given up by Walker, and here's Dreesen. Danny has singled twice and 4 times, has scored a pair, and has driven in 1. That Dodger-Cardinal game tonight, Lou Brock stole his 10th base of the season and his 875th career steal. Needs only 18 now to break Ty Cobb's record. Strike is called. Eastwick loosening up in our bullpen along with Ed Armbruster, and McEnany continues to throw for Montreal. High, a ball, 1-1. And a rain out in the American League, Texas and Boston. I think they're going to be playing a day-night doubleheader tomorrow at Fenway Park. 1 in the afternoon and 1 tomorrow night. Blast deep right field. Bye-ya. That one's gone, a home run. Danny Dreesen playing long ball. His 5th of the year. Ray Knight scoring ahead of him to up the count to a 13-1 margin for the Cincinnati Reds. First it was Foster, a 2-run blast in the 4th and a Geronimo solo shot in the 7th. And now Dreesen touches them all with a green seat home run to right. Foster will step up with 2 runs in. So on a night when they came from near and far to pay homage to Tony Perez, Danny Dreesen has had 3 hits, 2 singles and a home run, and has driven in 3 runs. Here's another who's knocked in 3, and Foster. Single, a home run. In for a strike. Cut on and popped out of play. That's dropping back in behind the Cincinnati dugout. The 3 home runs the Reds have struck tonight give them a total of 50 on the year. Two strikes and a pitch. Foul back and onto the screen as it stays at 0-2. Reds have scored in every inning excepting the 1st and the 6th. With 2 here in the 8th. Off the end of the bat, ground ball charging Frias at shortstop, launches the throw to Morales, out number 2. Now Pedro Bourbon. 4 for 7 this season. Pedro will get a save in this game. It'll be his third of the year. Swings and fouls out of play. Back of the plate, strike one. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow. We'll go at 5:30. Mark that down. A 5:30 start tomorrow night as Jackie Brown goes against Gary Nolan. Foul off the end of the bat, strike two. They're in the fifth inning in Houston, where the Astros hold a 3-1 lead over Matlack and the Mets. Andujar hurling for the Astros. In the sixth at Pittsburgh, Padres and the Bucks are all knotted up at 5 runs apiece. Here's a foul out of play to the left. Finals, Phillies over the Braves, 7-5. Cubbies continue to roll, 3-1. A victory over San Francisco this afternoon at Wrigley. Nothing in 2 on Bourbon. That went in the dirt and off the plate. So the Cubs, having already chalked up a victory this afternoon, their closest pursuer, Pittsburgh, tied with San Diego. Should the Padres win that game, Pirates would drop 4 games back. Here's a swing and a miss for strike 3. In the 8th for the Reds, 2 runs, a hit. Threesen's 5th home run of the year. We leave no one, and we move to the 9th inning, leading Montreal 13-1.
Paycheck, people are chipping away at it. Not just rent and groceries and utilities, but those little nagging monthly payments.
$11.70 a month to the department store, $22.50 to the appliance store, $10.90.
And on, month after month. At Capital, we understand. So total up all of those so-called monthly budget payments and call us or stop in. Answer a few standard credit questions and we'll start your application right away. The whole point is, when you need capital, you need Capital. White pages of your phone book for the nearest office of Capital Financial Services.
Boy, rolling out the offense tonight. 16 hits, 13 runs. Freddie Norman working 6 innings will get his 6th win of the year, and Bourbon will try to knock him off here in the 9th. It'll be Jose Morales to start things off for the men of Dick Williams. Morales, one of the top pinch hitters in baseball last season, but batting only 105 here in 77. A ground ball to second baseman Flynn. Up throwing to Dreesen. 1 out. 1 pitch, 1 out as Morales is disposed of. Carter has walked, fly to right, and fly to left field. Here's how to order Reds tickets by mail. Box seats 450, reserve seats 350. Send check or money order payable to Cincinnati Reds, box 1970 Cincinnati. Don't forget to include 50 cents with each of your orders for handling. Pitch on the way to the plate, and it's in there for a strike. Champ Summers is now in right field for the Reds. 1 change made as we move into this night. Now the 0-1. That's cut on and missed, and Carter spinning on the pitch. Strike 2. Away from the plate, Gary Carter with a 2-strike count and deficit that he's looking at from Pedro Bourbon. Now back in the batter's box, a right-handed hitter. Here's a wind and the pitch. Strike 3 call. Carter, looking at a pitch that got the inside corner, and he's going to dispute it with Jim Quick before turning and heading back to the Montreal dugout. So with 2 out, it's going to be Warren Cromartie stepping in. Second strikeout for Bourbon. Well, Marty has hit into a double play, reached on a fielder's choice, and bounced out short to first. Bourbon has given him but one hit since he came on in the seventh. Here's a grounder foul off first, and that hit was a seventh-inning solo home run by Andre Dawson. In the seventh inning now at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, Cards 6, Dodgers 2. We'll have all the scores of all the games on our Scores and Comment show immediately following the Star of the Game program. Pedro checking in with Plummer, and he sends it plateward. Ground ball, second baseman Flynn charges, flips to Dreesen, and this one belongs to the Reds. Ninth inning has the Expos out in order. The Reds with a big night tonight, exploding for 13 runs on 16 base hits, 3 home runs, as they go one over the 500 mark for the first time since the third game of the year. Final score tonight, Reds 13, Montreal 1, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay with the winners, stay with the champs. That's what you hear me say. Cons, Big Red Smokies, and Jumbo Franks. Eat 'em up any old way. K-A-H-L-S, spelled with a capital K. Big Red Smokies, serve 'em at night or any time of the day. And Jumbo Franks, beef and regular, great on a dinner tray. K-A-H-L-S, spelled with a capital K. Popping in the pan, they plump up big, and that's the way they stay. Cons, Big Red Smokies, and Jumbo Franks. Eat 'em and holler, hooray! K-A-H-L-S, spelled with a capital K. Cook 'em on the grill and have some fun. Yes, sirree, I say. Cons, Big Red Smokies, and Jumbo Franks. Buy 'em today, okay? K-A-H-L-S, spelled with a capital K.
You can depend on Cons.
Offensive Thunder, the name of the game at Riverfront Stadium tonight. The Reds struck early against Stan Bonson and company, putting 2 runs on the board in the second and coming back with 3 in the third, and then eventually rolled on to a 13-1 victory to move to a 27-26 record on the year, and quite possibly could find themselves only 8 games back of the Dodgers at the night's completion of National League Baseball play. 13 runs, 16 hits. No errors with 5 men left on for the Reds, while Montreal was limited to 1 run on but 5 base hits. They, too, played errorless baseball and stranded 5. Winning pitcher Freddie Norman went the first 6. He is now 6-2 with a third save for Pedro Bourbon, who went the last 3. And the loss, the first in National League play, for right-hander Stan Bonson, whose mark evens out at 1 win and 1 defeat. Tomorrow night, 5:30 beginning, Game 2 of what will be a 4-game series, and we'll be back to take a look at the starting pitchers in that one when we continue in just a moment.
That melody you hear says that pleasure's near. Real beer lovers know that means grows. So play that friendly sound, pass that great taste around, from one beer lover to another stroll. For more than 200 years, the Stroh family's been making great beer, taking pride in what they're doing it their own way, doing it the Stroh's way. So play that friendly sound, pass that great taste around. Real beer lovers know. Real beer lovers know that means Stroh.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
We'll get it underway at 5:30. Late afternoon start tomorrow as the Reds meet the Expos in the second game of this 4-game set, and there will be a pair of right-handers going. Jackie Brown, former American leaguer, will be on the hill for the Expos, facing the Cincinnati Reds for the first time in his career. Brown will be showing a record of 2 wins and 4 defeats, and Sparky Anderson will counter with right-hander and undefeated Gary Nolan. He'll be after his 5th consecutive victory of the 77 campaign. Plenty of seats available. Again, the 5:30 start, and if you can't make it, here's hoping you'll join us along the Reds Baseball Network line. We'll kick off the pregame proceedings beginning at 5 o'clock Cincinnati time on most